The New York Rangers are the hottest team in hockey with a 15-3-1 start to the season, and with Saturday's 7-4 win over the Boston Bruins, they are the first place team in the NHL with 31 points. Chris Kreider leads the NHL in power play goals. The team has the best goals against in the NHL, and they are winning games with a revived Jonathan Quick. Doing all this still with Fox and Heel sidelined. It truly feels like we can say there is no quit in New York for this team. I kind of wish we saved that headline for Laviolette's tenure as a coach. There is no sense of panic when this team faces adversity in the middle of games. Let's hop into the game against the Dallas Stars at American Airlines Center. Igor in net for the Rangers and backup Scott Wedgwood, who's had a good season for the Dallas Stars so far. The Rangers were buzzing in the first period. They had the fourth line going, good carryover from their game against the Jersey Devils. Jimmy Vesey had a chance in the first period off the crossbar. Then Lafreniere had a chance with his patented backhander, stopped by Scott Wedgwood as well, who at this point in the first period was in the zone. The Rangers get finished killing off a power play. They get a power play of their own, and Vincent Trocheck makes it 1-0. The pass came from Trocheck right to left to Chris Kreider. Kreider shot it over the net. Trocheck following the puck on the rebound. He was the only guy in the arena who knew where the puck was. He wraps it around and into the net for a 1-0 Rangers lead. Game stayed 1-0 until the second period, where Kaapo Kakko made it 2-0. He took it to the net, which is something I've been so frustrated with Kaapo Kakko with. He's having trouble finding his game. I think if he takes a puck to the net more, he'll get rewarded more, but he'll also find his game a little bit more. And he's rewarded for a goal there, 2-0. He's too shy away from taking the biscuit to the cage. Plain and simple, he's too shy from it. He needs to do it more. He gets a friendly bounce there, and the Rangers look like they're about to be in control of this hockey game. It's 2-0 more than halfway through. They need to keep the foot on the gas here. But the Stars respond right away. Veteran team, veteran guy gets him on the board. It's Jamie Benn off a 3-on-1 rush. Miller gets caught up the ice. It's a good play by the Stars. And then they tie it up right away in the third, 1 minute in. Pavelski on a rebound. It's a brand new hockey game, 2-2 early in the third period. Now 7 minutes into the third, the Stars on the power play thanks to a bad high-sticking penalty by Barclay Goodrow. Bad penalty by Goody. You gotta know when to control your stick. You gotta control your stick, period. You can't have your hockey stick willy-nilly flying it everywhere. Can't be doing that. It hits Marchment, and he's an emotionally vested player. He sold it a little bit. Then he got the power play goal to make it 3-2 Stars. The initial shot was a save by Igor Shesterkin on Wyatt Johnston. A tough one, but Igor had it all the way from his left to his right. Makes the first stop, but Marchment banks home the rebound. Initially waved off by the ref, but once they reviewed it, we saw the replay. I knew it was going to be overturned. 3-2 Stars. Stars make it 4-2 with Jones and Schneider being out there for their worst shift of definitely their worst game of the season. At least as a pair together. The puck was essentially carried in by Schneider's hand into the Rangers zone. Marchment picked it up. The puck goes towards the net. Sagan essentially gets the puck towards the net, banging away at it. It was a bad look for the Rangers core. Tyler Sagan essentially got this goal on top of Zach Jones. It was probably the worst defensive effort I thought the Rangers pairing of Jones and Schneider had that game, and it was like their worst effort by far. But I do think they've been better since. We'll talk about that later, obviously. But Lavi ended up challenging with it. Challenge for goalie interference. It was very, very unsuccessful. Rangers call up the penalty. Not sure why we challenged it for goalie interference there, but he did it. It is what it is. One key note here, the Rangers had 30 shots on goal in the third period at the time. The Stars made it 4-2. The Rangers get their chance in the power play with their goalie pulled down too. However, Gustafsson tries to make a play at the offensive zone blue line, gives it up to Sam Steele, makes it 5-2. Shorthanded empty net goal. Unfortunately, again, off a play off Gustafsson, a 6-2 empty net goal also, and it's the Rangers' first regulation defeat since October 19th. Games like this happen. I wanted to talk about this game very in-depth. I thought the Rangers' fourth line did a good job in the first period. The Rangers were kind of in control throughout this game halfway through. Scott Wedgwood did a very good job keeping his team in it. A veteran team like the Dallas Stars, they found a way to win. They had a very good third period. It was by far the Rangers' worst third period of the season, and knock on wood, we haven't seen it since. And yeah, so but that loss kind of slaps you in the face a little bit. Bad third period, and also I mentioned earlier 30 shots on goal for the Rangers when they made it 4-2. With 11 minutes left, they still had 30 shots on goal when the Stars made it 6-2. So again, the third period needed to be better. Again, knock on wood, haven't seen one like that since. That's why I really wanted to go in depth more in that Dallas game. I mentioned the fourth line, like I said earlier, doing good things. They got rewarded at the end of the game, making it 6-3 in the closing moments. Note that both of these teams coming in were two of the top 5 teams in the league in goals against at the time. Rangers, Penguins on the road in Pittsburgh, pre-Thanksgiving special. Rangers win 1-0. Laffy Taffy and Jonathan Quick helped the New York Rangers to a pre-Thanksgiving shutout over the Pittsburgh Penguins. In the first 5 minutes of the game, Quick was tested but made some good saves. Crosby hit one off the iron, and a minute 10 into the game, Evgeny Malkin had the net empty with Quick lost on the sauce. Luckily, Mika Zibanejad was standing on the goal line with his left skate able to get a piece of the Malkin shot that goes wide. Do we count that as a save for Mika Zibanejad? I think so. We know he's been struggling 5-on-5. I'm not worried at all about Mika Zibanejad. He makes a good defensive play, which is something he's been doing A++ this whole season. Mika Zibanejad under Peter Laviolette has quietly turned into an early Selke favorite, a dark horse at least. His defensive game looks like it's helped him find a little bit of his offensive game of late, and that proves facts for the only goal of the game. And we'll be talking more about Mika Zibanejad later, obviously. The Rangers have Panarin and Lafreniere out there at the end of their shifts, so Mika Zibanejad starting his. The Penguins' Ryan Graves skating with the puck through the neutral zone goes to shoot it in. Mika Zibanejad is all over the play. He's dialed in, picks up the puck, easiest puck he could ever pick up. Alexei Lafreniere, and I want to point this out. Ryan Graves gave up that puck. He was on the ice for 12 seconds at the time of the turnover and could not catch up to Alexei Lafreniere, who was on the ice for 52 seconds at the time of the turnover. He seemed to pull away from Ryan Graves with crossovers and about 3 strides, blows right past Ryan Graves, and then he gets the pass from Mika Zibanejad, top backhand cheese on Jari. It was a beautiful goal, and I feel like nobody talked about it enough. I really want to give an assist to Lafreniere skating on that goal. Alexei Lafreniere has now unlocked his signature move. That is his signature move. But the next time he does go to that move, let me tell you, who's going to get a goalie to bite when he goes forehand. It's going to be sweet. Anyway, big assist to Mika 9-3 on that goal. Good pass. The Penguins do score with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first period, with Jonathan Quick's glove being knocked off into the corner on the goal right after a power play expired. If this was challenged as goal interference, it would have stood as a goal for the Penguins. However, the entry into the zone was reviewed and determined offside. Both goalies were tested. Jonathan Quick was good when he needed to be. He made some big saves on Crosby, one in the third. Jari was awesome too, kept the Penguins in the majority of the night, and the Rangers generated offense. They just couldn't beat him. The Rangers take 4 points on the Pennsylvania road trip with a 3-1 win over the Philadelphia Flyers. We get some positive news the day of the game. Filipino has began skating on his own. That's still the only update we have heard from him today as of November 27th. Fun game by the Rangers and Flyers on Black Friday. I think the NHL has done a very good job. For a fan of the Rangers, at least, on Black Friday games, whether it's the Bruins, Red Wings, or Flyers, the Black Friday games are emotional. They're fun games. They're fun to watch, and they get the dub in this year's Black Friday game against the Flyers on the road. Rangers get the first one early off the rush. Kreider from his own zone hits up a streaking Blake Wheeler. Looked like it was the fastest Blake Wheeler skated all year long as a New York Ranger. Skates this one into the offensive zone on a 2-on-1 with Mika Zibanejad. I can't believe this pass got through, but Wheeler held on to it as long as he could. Somehow found Mika Zibanejad, and Mika obviously wired it home. Beautiful play all around. Like I said, I felt like that was the fastest Blake Wheeler skated as a Ranger. So it's good to see that he's getting his skating back. Rangers quickly made it 2-0. Just 2 minutes into the first period. It's that line again off a face-off loss. It's Chris Kreider who finds himself in front of the goalie with nobody around him. Probably one of the most dangerous players to give the puck away to in front of the net. Travis Sanheim off the faceoff tries to make a pass to his right winger. Chris Kreider, deception, peels off of his man beautifully at a perfect time. Steals the puck, beats Hart. Kreider's team-leading 11th goal of the season. And then for a John Tortorella team, obviously, all chaos breaks loose. You're down 2-0 early. You gotta stir something up. You have your guys go out there and you're playing a physical game, and it ends up becoming a little altercation with Nick Delorier and Jacob Trouba in the corner of the Rangers zone. Nick Delorier was just going at Jacob Trouba as they skated up the ice, just giving it to him, grabbing him, slashing him, chirping him as they skated back up into the play. Trouba is looking at the play. Delorier looks like a poser, grabbing Trouba, challenging him for no reason. So you know what Trouba does? The captain of the New York Rangers, who as of right now is the most feared man in the NHL, he says enjoy the show. He lights up Garnet Hathaway right in front of Nick Delorier. Completely lit him up while he's getting grabbed by Delorier. And Trouba was barely moving. Nick Delorier at this point is still grabbing Trouba and not really doing anything at all. At least Garnet Hathaway stood up for himself. He ended up fighting Goudreau and sticking up for himself on that hit. What a world that is if you're John Tortorella. And then Garnet Hathaway sticks up for himself again. He lights up Ryan Lindgren, smoked him by the Rangers bench. Such a beautiful hit. Sorry, Lindy. Cooley steps up for the hit, even though it was a clean hit. Cooley steps up for the hit. We'd love to see it. Laviolette even said post-game, we kill those penalties off, no problem. Like, that's a penalty we want to kill, that's fine. Cooley got a 2-5 and a 10, unfortunately. Obviously, I don't want him getting the 10. It makes sense, but, I disagree. It makes sense, but I disagree. Hathaway's a very effective player. You never know when a season goes wrong for Philly. It could go wrong very quickly. Garnet Hathaway could be a player that the Rangers could target. Doesn't have that big of a cap hit. We could talk about that at a later day. But, just for a future reference, you never know a guy you could look at. Garnet Hathaway as a trade deadline acquisition. I really do like his game. Rangers kill off a lot of penalties in this one, just like they did against the Penguins. The Rangers were 11 for 11 on the penalty kill in Pennsylvania. The Rangers' third goal comes off the rush once again with 12:19 left to go in the second. Blake Wheeler finds Mika Zibanejad's stick that directs the puck home, 3-0. That was again another beautiful pass by Blake Wheeler. Great plays by Mika Zibanejad and Blake Wheeler in this game. The Flyers would then add a goal late in the second period, a tip by Couturier, but that's all the Flyers would get, a 3-1 Rangers win. They eventually had a third period Chris Kreider shorthanded goal taken off the board due to an offside. Would have been Kreider and Zibanejad's third point of the night. But the Rangers need to get more than 3 shots on goal in the third period. Not as bad as the third period in Dallas because you got the job done in Philly, but still, want to have more than 3 shots on goal. And, staying out of the box in the third would have helped there as well. But, little things like that is something the Rangers can improve. Discipline is key, however. They were 11 for 11, like I mentioned, on the penalty kill this weekend, that weekend in Philadelphia. So it was really awesome to see the penalty kill do a good job, but just stay out of the box more. At home, after taking 6 out of a possible 8 points on the road trip, an original 6 matchup at Madison Square Garden featuring 2 of the top teams in the NHL, Rangers and Bruins. Jonathan Quick for the Rangers, Linus Ullmark for the Bruins. Bruins losing the matinee the day before to the Red Wings at home. Rangers winning theirs in Philly. And guess what? This is actually the first of back-to-back games for the Rangers this season. And oh man, this was a fun game. The Rangers with their foot on the gas early didn't allow the Bruins to get a shot on goal until 13 minutes into the game. The Rangers' forecheck was awesome. Their anticipation was excellent in all 3 zones. They were reading plays really well and reading well off of each other. And that leads to the Rangers' first goal. Dumped in by Keandre Miller, and it's the Rangers' third line helping create the turnover. Nick Bonino picks it up, shoots the puck towards the net. His first goal as a New York Ranger. Kakko and Cooley helps create a turnover that landed on Bone's stick, and that third line gets a goal. It's a hard-working line, so it's good to see. Matt Grzelcyk gets called for hooking, and the Rangers capitalize on the power play halfway through the first period. It's Chris Kreider after a puck squeaks through from the shot at the point, taken by Erik Gustafsson, tipped in by Chris Kreider, and then eventually put home by him. It's a power play goal for the Rangers, and Chris Kreider's 7th power play goal, at the moment tied for first in the NHL in power play goals with Vancouver Canucks' Brock Besser. Jim Montgomery called a timeout here, and I loved it. I thought it was a great timeout going up against one of the best teams in the league, down by 2 early. You never know how your team could turn out. You don't love your team's game. Let's change it right now. And it changed the game for them. A couple minutes later after the power play, it changed the game for them. A couple minutes later after the power play goal, the Bruins with a big push and some good shifts. It leads to them tying the game up within 24 seconds. 2 goals, one by Coyle and the other by Morgan Geekie, to flip the script on the Blue Shirts in the first period, and it's a new hockey game. The first goal was an on-man rush that was broken up by Erik Gustafsson. Puck found its way to Charlie Coyle, who puts it in the back of the net. And the second goal was a blast by Morgan Geekie. Nick Bonino had a broken stick on the play. The Rangers got scrambled. Kakko tried to give it to him. Bonino said no. I don't know what happened. Puck ended up in the back of the net, and then Peter Laviolette called his timeout. And I thought it was another good time to take a timeout. There's really no point of holding the timeouts anymore. You don't need it to challenge. You'll just get a penalty if you're wrong now. So I love that both coaches used their timeouts early. I thought they used it at a good time. Both coaches settled the game for both teams after that. Winding down the first period, Eric Gustafsson gets called for hooking. Not ideal. Had a good period, and then you kind of lost it. You don't want to go into the third period giving the other team momentum, especially after giving up 2 straight. But then the Rangers decided to flip momentum into their favor instead. Trouba found Chris Kreider streaking up the ice, past Charlie McAvoy. Chris Kreider scores shorthanded, a huge goal for the New York Rangers, and they go into the second up 1. The Bruins score on the same power play, though, in the second period with 2 seconds left on it. Pastrnak, who with so much time and space, don't know how he had that much time and space. Trouba and Mika caught up the ice. The other D-man taking the net front. It's tied again 3-3. You can't give David Pastrnak that much space and time, especially on the power play. For a little bit, the best 2 defensive teams in hockey turned into those. Both teams still exchanging some good chances, and Quick and Ullmark were good in this portion of the second period. The Rangers score then my favorite goal of the year late in the second period. The New York Rangers' fourth line was awesome in Pittsburgh. They were really good in Philly, and then they finally get rewarded largely for their effort in the game against the Boston Bruins. They did a fantastic job all night at hounding the Bruins defenders and not giving the Bruins enough time to make a play in all 3 zones of the ice. They were awesome. Vesey scores a goal on a delayed penalty, a penalty he drew. He took a high stick on the play by Ian Mitchell. The referee saw the penalty, raise his arm with 4 minutes left to go in the second period. Rangers did what they did best. They outworked the Boston Bruins. Panarin comes out for the extra skater. Jones connected with Schneider immediately. They almost teed up for a goal on the delayed penalty. Then Jones, Panarin, and now Trocheck, who came on for Goudreau, cycle it around. Panarin giving it to Vesey down low by the goal line. While Jimmy Vesey's bleeding from his mouth, he takes it to the goal. While he's falling down, he got a chance on Ullmark. The rebound goes behind the net. Pitlick, Jones, Schneider to Panarin and Trocheck for a one-timer on the left circle. Puck sits in the feet of Jimmy Vesey, who buries it home. It's such a gritty goal by the New York Rangers. It is my favorite goal of the year. That's why I broke it down so intensely. Jimmy Vesey buries it while he's bleeding from his mouth. It's a great goal to be scored by the fourth line and with a couple skill guys out there to help you get it on the extra attacker. Jimmy Vesey, man, this is why he is here. He is such a good worker. I love that Jimmy Vesey is back on this team. I love that Jimmy Vesey is getting head coached by Peter Laviolette as a New York Ranger. Second tour in New York. He plays his best hockey here. Jimmy Vesey plays his best hockey as a New York Ranger. That's a fact. Less than 30 seconds left in the second period now. Rangers' first line rushes up the ice. Joining is Keandre Miller, who winds one up and blasts one through the reigning Vezina Trophy winner. It was a very good feed from Mika Zibanejad. What a shot from Keandre Miller. Would love to see that shot released more in the future. All of a sudden, the Rangers are carrying a 5-3 lead in the third period with some momentum on their side. They kept the good vibes going, and it's the fourth line going to work after a face-off win. Jimmy Vesey makes a backhand feed to Tyler Pitlick. His first goal as a New York Ranger. It's 6-3. Bruins make it 6-4. Game's not over. Charlie Coyle, second of the night. Pesky Bruins just won't go away. But the Rangers can't stop scoring. Jones and Schneider have played well together, transitioning to offense. And in the offensive zone, they set up a good play here. A sweet pass by Schneider to Panarin gets them their 7th goal. Season high, 7 goals for the Rangers tonight. Panarin, one-timer, beat Ullmark. 7-4. That would end up being the final. A great game by all 4 lines. Everybody contributed into tonight's game, whether they got a point or not. But that was some really fun hockey to watch yesterday. Original 6 matchup at Madison Square Garden. 1 o'clock in the afternoon game on a Saturday after Thanksgiving. The NHL treats Ranger fans in regard to some very watchable hockey games in some prime spots, I will admit. Let's go over some Rangers stats. Rangers are the best team in the NHL in goals against. They're number 1 ranked. The PK is 8th. The power play is 4th. They're the number 1 team in faceoffs, led by Vincent Trocheck helping the way. And as a team, they've blocked the 7th most shots in the league, helped out by leader as a defenseman, Jacob Trouba, and leader as a forward, Nick Bonino. So they're blocking a lot more shots and winning a lot more faceoffs than they have in years past, and it's helping them win games. Like I said, I mentioned Trocheck earlier. He's one of the best centers in the NHL. Every time the Rangers need a faceoff win, it looks like he's out there helping out, taking it in a prime spot. We talked last time about their 5-on-5 play, needing a little more offense generated from the first line, and we've seen that. We're getting that in the last 5 games dating back to the Devils game. The first line of Zibanejad, Kreider, and Wheeler have combined for a total of 10 points. Hopefully waking up Mika Zibanejad's stick a little bit here. He's gotten a couple goals now in the last few games. The Rangers can keep this going. Good news about Adam Fox. This morning he skated with a no-contact jersey with the team at the morning skate. It looks like he's making humongous strides. It looks like he might be able to play. I'm not going to say Wednesday against Detroit, but it looks like possible he could play Wednesday against Detroit. I said it. There you go. Hopefully we see some more news on Chytil soon. As of right now, he's still just skating on its own. So the Rangers doing all these positive things, man. Without Fox and Chytil in, they're just finding ways to win. Their next game up tonight against the Buffalo Sabres at the Garden. The Sabres with a bit of a disappointing start to the season. Over their last 6 games, the Sabres have given up an average goals against of 3.8, only have 2 wins in those 6 games. Rangers, on the other hand, at 2.8 goals against, 5 wins in their last 6 games. My top New York Ranger performers of the week are Jonathan Quick with a .930 save percentage in the 2 wins he had this week, and he got a shutout over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Helped run out of Pittsburgh with both points in regulation there, a huge way to look at it from a Metro Division standpoint. And Jimmy Vesey, with his hard work and success, is also one of my top performers of the week. His success on that 4th line and also that 4th line in general. He has 4 points in his last 5 games, all even strength, including the game-winning goal in Jersey. Let's go around the NHL a little bit. 2 nights ago, Jacob Trouba got fined $5,000 for slashing a stick against Trent Frederick's head. He apologized this morning, post-morning skate. Listen, man, that's a bad play. That is a really bad play. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. I thought he should have gotten suspended. Don't know how many games. I mean, I saw someone say 20, 25 games. That's insane. But I think it's an incredibly outrageous, stupid play. I do think a suspension should have been warranted. The NHL Player Safety Union, the Department of Player Safety, not the union. The Department of Player Safety, we all know how inconsistent they are. That's a good word of putting it. How inconsistent they are, so they just need to get a little bit better. I just don't think that should have been only a $5,000 fine, but Jacob Trouba gets the $5,000 fine. Obviously, he didn't mean to do it on purpose, but man, that still happens. It still happens. It's not good. You should have gotten a suspension. We just talked about Barclay Goodrow's stick earlier in the Dallas game, needing to control your stick, not waving it all nilly-willy. Just gotta be smart, Troobs. He knows that too. He knows that. It's been a great year in the NHL. Let's go over some quarter season point awards. We're around the quarter point for the NHL season. I like Quinn Hughes for both the Hart and Norris Trophy. I really do. I don't think the Canucks would be anywhere near where they are if it wasn't for the play of Quinn Hughes. He has hit his full stride, and one of the most electric players in the NHL has arrived, and it is now all about Quinn Hughes. I do like Pettersson for the Selke. I do. I think he's been a good piece over there in Vancouver, and definitely a very good defensive forward. I think he's only got 8 goals, 22 assists around. So, I mean, the points are there for maybe like a Hart Trophy candidate, but I do like him for the Selke. I think his underrated defensive play gets overlooked. I also like Mika Zibanejad as a dark horse for the Selke. We talked about that earlier this show. Only on the ice for 5 even strength goals against while playing a very good center position. I do like Laviolette and Montgomery for the Jack Adams, but I also really do love in the long run Spencer Carberry if the Caps do sustain their success and make the playoffs. But as of right now, those are my top 3 for the Jack Adams. Just like quarter season awards. What a crop of rookies we have this year in the NHL. If you don't know about them, you should go learn about them. You might be hearing about them for a very long time. Headlined by Connor Bedard, he leads all rookies in points with 17, and he's hot. He's got a point in 4 straight games, helping defeat the Maple Leafs in overtime at home on Black Friday. I actually watched that game. That was Electric Factory. Watched the end of that game. That was awesome. The league is wide open this year. You've got some of your top teams, Rangers, Bruins, Stars, and Knights, but then most of the divisions are very tight, from 2nd and 3rd to the bottom. Usually you want to be in a playoff spot by this weekend, American Thanksgiving, but I can see a lot of teams not in it right now, in it by March and April. As for the Rangers, home tonight against the Buffalo Sabres, Detroit Thursday, and Nashville Saturday, home against the San Jose Sharks Sunday. I will keep up with all of it right here. I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching and listening. Please leave a like and share however you guys can. I'll see you guys next show. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go Rangers!